Hey, what's going on, everybody on YouTube? How's everybody doing? I'm doing just fine, doing awesome actually. So today, welcome back to another building tips and tricks video where I'm going to be showing you some really cool little tips and tricks with the new 1.17 blocks, and that update should be coming out the day that this video is going out. So you may not know what to do with all these new blocks, but I'm going to show you some ways that you can use them in this video. So stay tuned. Also, be sure to like and subscribe if you do enjoy this video. And also, if you want to check out more of these 1.17 building tips and tricks after this video, I got another video showing off some more 1.17 building tips and tricks, showing you how to use them new blocks to their finest ability. So be sure to check out this video, watch it till the end, and then go ahead and go watch that other video. There should be an eye up in the top right corner of the video that you can go click on, and that'll take you right to it. All right, starting off with our first one here, we got some little cattail, little pond decorations right here. So all we're doing is using some green glass panes and then using brown candles at the top. These work perfectly for those little cattail designs that you always see in them little ponds or lakes, whatever have you. And it looks really, really cool. But let's say, hey, maybe I don't want to have a whole pond. Maybe I just want to have a little, a little miniature cattail, which is pretty cool. You just take a little bit of bamboo and a little bit of that brown candle right on the top. Now, of course, with the candles, you have to place a block first, then place the candle, and then you could put the flower pot and the bamboo right in there. So you kind of have a little bit of a two-step process, but you still can do this. It works out really, really well. All right, so for our next design here, we have some raw ore blocks and just some regular ore blocks, kind of just mixed in together to kind of create a little bit of just a piled up ore looking feature here. I used to do this before just with the regular ore blocks, as you can see, but now we have these raw ore blocks, which just makes it look so much cooler, right? You can add some railroad ties and also some lovely little ladders going down the side there, just to look like it's all bound up together. And it looks really cool. I really like these new raw ore blocks. They're really kind of pretty in a sense, and work for this at least. I'm sure there's some more uses that I have yet to discover with them. But for now, I think this looks pretty cool. Adds a little decoration, a little bit of color outside of maybe like a blacksmith or something. You also have sort of this magical sort of like amethyst type of deal going on over here. It looks pretty cool. I really like it. So we have some floating purple glass panes just floating around here, just to kind of create like a magical essence floating around this. So you might see that it's outside of like a wizard tower. I'm not too sure, maybe an enchantment building, but either way, I think it looks really cool and kind of unique as well. This next design is kind of just straightforward. It's just a little path design using some of the new deep slate blocks, and as well as using some of that new smooth basalt texture block. Looks really, really cool. What I noticed is that this block right here, just the regular deep slate cobble block, looks really cool on its own, just as its own pathway. So this could work just on its own. It doesn't need all these extra little blocks. But nevertheless, I mean, I really like this pathway. I think it's a nice dark pathway. It could, not be as noticeable, right? It's not as bright. That could be really nice for like a pathway block, because it's not going to take away from your builds being so bright or stand outy. So this could be really, really nice and work really well within your little towns. Again, this next design is kind of just like a little bit straightforward. It's nothing too special, too crazy, but it does add that little extra detail to your builds if you're willing to go into detail like this. Previously, what we did before is and I still kind of do this from time to time, if you have like a dock or something that's kind of dipping into the water a little bit, you can add some spruce wood to kind of look like the wood is a little bit wet, right? Like it's a little bit soaked. So you just have that nice transition of oak wood going into the spruce wood over here, and it just looks like the wood is damp or it's soaked from the lake or whatever. Now we can do that with the deep slate as well. So we have a transition between just regular stone bricks and also deep slate. So you have the deep slate at that bottom texture. You can also bring the deep slate up a block just to look like the water level was there at one point, right? So it can look like it was damp at one point, water level changed, whatever have you. But it's just a nice little detail that you guys can add to your builds. This next design is sort of just like a little spike trap design. It's kind of unique, really. I really like it. It's using that little dripstone, whatever it's called. I forget what it's called, but I think it's something similar to that. But either way, yeah, these are like them little spike things that you get from that. And you can put them on top of dispensers like this. They don't perfectly line up, which is unfortunate, but it works, right? It kind of looks like a spike trap that you would see in like a desert temple or something that you see in like maybe a jungle temple or something like that. But unfortunately, little bit of a disclaimer here. The dispensers don't actually dispense these blocks like this. That would be really cool if they did, but unfortunately they do not. So right now this is just for looks. You have to place all this down yourself. But yeah, if you're building like a jungle temple build, or you want to have some like spike traps throughout your build, whatever it is, this could really work really well and look really nice. These next few builds that I have for you are going to be featuring some of the lightning rod and how you guys can kind of incorporate that into your builds. This one definitely is like a more of a unique block for me because it has like the ball at the end, and then it has the shaft over here. So it's definitely a more unique block, but it works in a lot of different scenarios. For instance, like over here we have two different designs of cages. Now this one right here, if I pop out of spectator mode for a second, you can see this one isn't functional. You can just sort of walk right through it. So if you're looking for a functional cage design, this isn't really it. But this one is. This one going the other way. This will hold back any prisoners you may have on your server. But yeah, this one looks good. Looks better, I would say, than the horizontal one. But it doesn't function as well, unfortunately. But nevertheless, I still think this is a cool use of the lightning rod. Makes it look for like a nice little cage design over here. If we hop over here, more uses of the lightning rod. This is like a little wrestling rink, which I think is so cool. This is really neat. Of course, we're using some chains for like the rope effect going on, but then the lightning rod kind of adds for them the buckles or whatever in the corners, right? And also using some copper and some of the new. We got this. I think this is called calcite, I believe. Let me just double check that. Yes, it is. Cool. And then we also have deep slate, the polished deep slate block right in here as well. So that's just kind of being used up very nicely. So yeah, this looks really cool. Just a nice little, you could of course build it a lot bigger than this. This is just an example, of course. But yeah, you guys can have some little wrestling rinks. It's kind of a cool thing. I don't know. Looks nice. And then over here, we have some lovely what are these called again? I believe these are called, I'm going to call them electric lines for now. But yes, telephone poles, something like that. But yeah, you guys can kind of create more detailed telephone poles now. And they look really nice because we're using that same thing, the chains, and then the lightning rods are acting as like the connectors here, which looks really nice. And using that polished deep slate, once again, looks very industrial looking block, so might as well use that in that scenario. And yeah, this looks like a nice little telephone pole connector electric post designs. It's very, very detailed design there, and I like it. Looks really cool. Moving on, we have just a nice copper chandelier, I would say. A lightning rod chandelier. It just fits very nicely into this little scenario. So if you have a place to fit a copper chandelier, there you go. We're using some orange candles as well, just to kind of blend in with the theme, with some acacia fences just kind of hidden in there as well. This all fits really nicely and can make for a nice fancy chandelier design. And then over here we have just some nice little candle holders. I showed off something similar to this in my last video, just using some end rods instead. So this is just using the lightning rod. Yeah, it looks really good. It's a nice little candle holder design. Just more decorations to add to your dining table or what have you. And yeah, I really like how that looks. All right, so the next few are going to have to do with some plant-based stuff, okay? So this is kind of really cool. You wouldn't think of candles in this light or in this sense, but candles are just so much more than just what they are, right? And I think that's what goes to show a lot in Minecraft. A lot of things you see or use, they have a function. They have that one function, but you know, you'll find out that a lot of other Minecrafters use that one block for many different purposes. Like this over here, candles being used as that little flower on top of cactuses. Just adds for a little of that pink color that you sometimes see on cactuses, which looks really, really cool. You can also use candles, the green candle as well, just to look like the cactus hasn't fully grown yet, which I think is a really cool thing. I don't know. I think that's a really neat little feature and just adds so much. Again, over here, using candles as stems. You use brown or green candles for the stems of the pumpkins or the melons. And then over here we have a, again, just using that same example like we did with the cactus over here, just the bamboo hasn't fully grown yet. So it just looks like it's just stemming up or budding up, and it looks really, really neat. So yeah, just a few little stem designs or little flower designs, as you can see, which look really, really nice. Moving along here, we have a little seedling kind of things, or just freshly planted farms. Now, obviously, this isn't going to grow anything. This is just for looks. But nevertheless, it looks like seeds that are just popping up out of the ground, which looks so cool. It's just a nice little feature that you can add to your farms. It's not the typical Minecraft farm. It's just a nice decorational Minecraft farm, which looks really nice. And speaking of farm, how about corn, right? Oh, corn. We might not have it officially in the game, but we can make do, right? And this isn't perfect either. I had to get rid of... This is why the candles aren't on every single one, because unfortunately they are offset. So I try to do my best for them to be as close as possible. They're going to be offset just a little bit. So this doesn't quite work because bamboo doesn't grow right in a full line. So this is as close as we're going to get. Like you can see, these are just like a slightly off, which might bother some people. So you might not want to use this design, but this is just to give you an idea. But from a distance, like if you're looking over here, it doesn't look that bad, right? If you're looking from the side, it's not terrible. Like, that's not terrible. It just sort of all blends in. If you have a whole field of these, then it's not going to look bad at all. But yeah, this is just give you an example of like, hey, you can use some bamboo with some, you know, nice, lovely yellow candles on top to act as corn, which is just so cool. I love that. I think that's so creative and nice and beautiful. It's awesome. All right, so there you go. Feel free to use any of these designs. Get your inspiration flowing. Get your inspiration going with some of these designs. I'm just ecstatic for this new update, and it's coming out today. And it's gonna be great. I can't wait to fully play on the update and get my ideas flowing with this new update myself in my own worlds. I hope you do the same. Again, if you did enjoy this video, leave a like on it. If you found some of these designs to be pretty interesting, let me know which one was your favorite. And also do subscribe for more tips, tricks, and videos just like this one. And yeah, as always, guys, don't forget to be awesome. And I will see you guys next time.